technology, or from our standpoint at Samsung, such opportunities where we are here to share a very exciting future which we are all aware of, which is the rollout of 4G networks and 4G technology in India. But really from Samsung, 4G experience ought to be, from our standpoint, from our technology, from our delivery to consumers in the Indian market. You're already aware of, and you see it on your screens, it's a new device, which is Samsung Galaxy J2. Of the 700 million, close to 160 million or 16 crore consumers are using smartphones in India. So very large, no doubt. But when we look at it in another way, and we benchmark India, or we look at India in relation to certain other relevant and important markets, large markets from a telecom standpoint, whether we look at China, Russia or Brazil, you see these numbers in terms of smartphone penetration as a percentage of their overall population. And then you realize that the opportunity, while the Indian market is still already so large, 700 million mobile phone users, and within that 160 million smartphones, we also therefore get on this slide a sense of how large the opportunity still is remaining to be uncovered. At Samsung, as a market leader, we've been evangelizing or growing or changing mobile lives to really smartphone lives over the last 4 to 6 years steadily. And I think there's a great opportunity and a great part we still look forward to in playing and imparting in India towards growing the smartphone adoption. Now let's keep this piece of information that I just shared about the overall market size and smartphone penetration within that and the sheer opportunity of growth. Keep this perspective on one side. Let's look at another aspect, which is the internet penetration and internet adoption and usage in India. Now, if you look at the internet market as well, we can safely see that there are over 300 million internet subscribers and users in India. Now that itself once again makes India one of the largest internet markets world over. No doubt, penetration, of course, as a percentage, still there is a huge opportunity for further penetration of internet services in India. When we look at over 300 million internet users, we realize that the bulk of them, 250 million users, are accessing internet through mobile phones. Not just that, within mobile phones, the bulk of it is being used over smartphones. Now this again is a very interesting aspect that we look at on the second hand. If you couple these two aspects, that what is the smartphone penetration and what is the internet penetration, and specifically through mobile phones, we can get a good picture to say that look, overall smartphones are poised for continuously very strong growth, and within that a higher and higher adoption of high-speed internet, and increasingly therefore 4G, which we are all in the country not standing in the order of. Actually 4G has already begun rolling out, at least through one incumbent operator, as we know. So there's a great opportunity and change that is imminent that we will see in India. Now when we look at 4G technology, our belief at Samsung is that whatever time it's taken for 3G to be adopted over 2G technology in the last, let's say 3.5–4 years, this time around the adoption of 4G will be much faster than it is taken for 3G to get adopted. And it's for a simple fact. And the simple fact is that over the last 3 to 4 years, as smartphones got proliferated and increasingly used and entered consumers' lives, so consumers on the one hand experienced and came to expect what smart lives or smartphone experiences could be or are in the form of applications, internet, games, social networking, emails for that matter. So clearly they've come to comprehend and understand the joy and the power of smartphones on the one side, and on the other side 3G internet and 3G data speeds. They've come to expect what reasonably high speeds complement for great immersive experiences that smartphones give. If that base level of understanding is already sitting at the kind of numbers I shared in my preceding slides, we therefore believe that 4G and the pickup of 4G will be far faster this time around. Now in this context, the market and the industry and the consumers at large will come to reasonably easily understand what 4G will be, and 4G will be about speeds, and I showed on the previous slide 10 times faster than 3G speeds. That would be the average speeds one can come to expect of 4G over 3G. So that comprehension will be fairly rapid, fairly easy, fairly fast. Now come to Samsung. When at Samsung we look at this market and the way the industry stands and is poised to go forward, as a market leader in India, again, we take it incumbent on ourselves to catalyze, to once again evangelize, to once again usher this change in the ways we know best at Samsung. And one of those aspects and core to us at Samsung, which you saw in the audiovisual and as you see it on your slide right now, is the whole mantra of Make for India. Now we understand Make in India is an extremely powerful vision that the government has laid forward, and we at Samsung are not only committed to it, in fact we've been doing it in our own way for many years now, and the way we call it is Making for India or Make for India, which really is about, it begins with really the consumer, the Indian consumer, hearing and listening to the insights and the preferences of the Indian consumer, and being able to take those into our R&D and design labs, which again you saw in our audio-visual. We have 3 R&D centers and we have 1 full-fledged design center in India. We are able to take our insights into R&D labs, design labs, into our thinkers, into our innovators who are based here in India, over 8,000 of them, and are able to churn it around into meaningful features or aspects of our devices which will give great experiences to consumers. We take that and we are able to commercially produce it out of our plant in India. So we have 2 manufacturing facilities, as you may be aware of. One is right here in Sri Perumbudur and one is near Delhi in Greater Noida. We are able to manufacture what we are able to design in India, which we are able to research or insight in consumers in India. And really we take this intent or the best of this ability for Making for India into once again looking at how we are going to use this or leverage this towards the next frontier, which is 4G. And that's where I would like to now take you forward in explaining. Sorry. Let me just play this. You know, when we looked at 4G and we went to the consumers, we found certain very clear perspectives from their side. Perspectives on how they use 3G, how they use their current smartphones, what are their joys, what are their fears. Specifically when we look at 4G coming in, we probe them around what to expect of 4G and what are they looking forward to and what concerns them. When we look at both aspects, we got some very, very interesting feedback. Now we've been sitting on this kind of knowledge consistently, but here is a small AV I'm about to show to you, which will show you certain excerpts of what the consumers repeatedly have been playing back to us. Now can I have the AV please? Back here and we keep figuring out also. Consumers use internet, love internet, but there is a propensity to switch on and switch off the internet depending on whether the consumer wants to pull certain information or upload a picture or send an email or share, do some messaging. So that kind of a propensity is being found of consumers, and I think a couple of them replayed that behavior as well. The other part, consumers, and therefore what does this show? This is really about their sensitivity towards costs in billings. The other part is device performance and device experience. Consumers do come to expect a better and better visual experience, a better and better battery performance, enduring performance, and of course a faster device. There are cases and times when consumers have misgivings or not the best experiences on device performance or hanging or slowing down. These are real things we hear and we see in the market. When we take some of these feedbacks and take it back to our design towards 4G, we set forth to really address some of these key or all of these key feedbacks systematically, one by one. When we launched J2, we have therefore attempted to carry all these learnings and address them through this first device. Now this is a very important device, not only because it's coming in the affordable segment or the mass segment of smartphones, but really from Samsung's standpoint, we see this one of the most important devices in India in the mobile business and the mobile market of India going forward, which will get the early 4G users. We expect this device should be able to address not just consumers upgrading from 3G to 4G, but even 2G to 4G. And therefore, we've kept it easy and friendly and very acknowledging of what consumers are expecting or saying at this segment when they want to upgrade to a smartphone or to a 4G connection or a high-speed connection itself. Some of the key themes, therefore, we've addressed and brought into this device. We've ensured that when consumers move up to 4G speeds, they're also expecting to move up to a visually better experience, whether of the videos, of the HD quality videos they stream, or sheer images, or messaging, or emails, or web browsing, or app usage that they enjoy. They should come to expect even also the best quality visual experience. And therefore, over here we brought Samsung's marquee Super AMOLED resolution and technology into the display of this device. The other part we worked on is the efficiency, the prudence of the billing and the use of the billing through a feature which is the ultra data saving mode, or the ultra data saving feature, which we introduced as the first time in this device, and I'll describe it in detail in the coming slides to you. The third aspect we've ensured is that it's not enough to have a high-speed 4G connection. It is equally important to have a device that is very high speed in its performance and complements high-speed connectivity in its own way, and I will describe that too. So really, we've taken some of these consumer learnings, borrowed from that, designed around that, and manufactured and here get to launch a J2 which systematically will address each of these key findings that we've got out of consumers here in India. I will describe this product in detail to you as I go forward. Like this. Has three very important dimensions that we would like to share over here. One is how we made it and why we made it visually richer. Second is how we addressed the cost efficiency and the thrift that consumers have in their bills, and how we will help consumers optimize their data consumption and data billing therefore. And the third aspect being really how we complement high-speed internet with a really high-speed device itself that the J2 is built to be. Let's go and understand first on the display side. Now, as I mentioned, the Samsung's marquee display capability, which is really Super AMOLED, is hitherto or so far actually found in our flagship devices. If you look at the Galaxy S series or the Galaxy Note series, which are really our premium flagship devices, over the last few years that we introduced Super AMOLED, it was really found only or introduced only in that end of the market. Now, when we launch the Samsung Galaxy J2, which is an affordable segment device, it's our belief that consumers who are moving up to 4G should also come to expect and experience the best quality of visual entertainment or a visual experience, whether they're browsing emails or videos or gaming or using apps, what they would be doing. And therefore, Super AMOLED now finds place for the first time in this segment of our portfolio for consumers out here. Now, when we look at the Super AMOLED capability, there are certain significant advantages which help aid or improve its visual experience and visual superiority. For one, it has a very rich color expression. It is 1.4 times more than conventional TFT displays. On the other hand, it has a far deeper contrast. The blacks are blacker and the whites are whiter in a Super AMOLED, and the contrast ratio is 100 to 1 again compared to conventional displays. So really deep contrasts, really rich color expressions, a really wide color palette that this device and this resolution is able to give. Not just that, Super AMOLED as a screen technology, as a display technology, is a slimmer technology. As a result of which, we are able to conserve or reduce the device thickness itself. And therefore, the Galaxy J2 is a mere 8.4 millimeter slim. So Super AMOLED display not only enhances the visual experience, but it has also helped us reduce the slimness of the device and make it more sleeker than a conventional device in this segment was found to be. If we move forward to understand the cost efficiency and how